Hey everyone, today I'm in Amsterdam. I came this time with my car. Big road trip, beautiful sunny day, Saturday in Amsterdam. I have a workshop at University of Amsterdam. The focus of this is more towards business people. It's a classroom full of MBA students, mostly working executives and so on. And therefore, I produce this content that is entirely focused on business strategies and business leaders and people who want to get into AI agents and n8n and AI automation and so on. I still have to do another 10 minutes walk because this parking spot was far away. It's very hard to find a parking spot in Amsterdam. So I'm gonna start walking and we will keep capturing some more moments of Amsterdam City and some back of the scene of this workshop. So let's go. There's sun behind me, so there might be a little bit of glare. So what I really love about doing this is this time I'm with my family. So I brought my kids and my wife with me. Yesterday it started really nice. We we had this first hour, for those of you who know, like if you have kids, you know what I'm talking about. The first hour of a long road trip, it's very nice. Everyone is happy, the music is rolling and the kids are dancing in the music. And then the next hours they're crying. So that was the case with us. But luckily they fell asleep and we had a lot of breaks. So it was a very, very long drive. It's around 6.5 hours of drive, I think 650 kilometers or something. But it took us, I don't know, some 9 hours to arrive. So it was nice. And I love Amsterdam a lot because I have been here like 1,000 times, maybe. Not 1,000, but you get it. I have to check the the map. I have to go this way. I was a part of this scale up called ZAP. And ZAP was a part of the pretty early hours in the tech team. And we had our executions in here, in London and in Paris. It was a last mile delivery company during COVID, so perfect timing to scale up this kind of a company from nothing to $300 million in funding. And I had to come back and forth a lot, and there's a lot of wind. I'm not sure if the wind sensors of this microphone would work, but I'm sorry if there's too much wind. So I came to Amsterdam a lot to manage I was a director of engineering and building the software for all the supply chain and the management of the warehouses and so on. Therefore, I like Amsterdam, and especially the atmosphere and so on. So I'm going to just give you guys a little bit of a look of Amsterdam while walking. Apparently, this is a big, nice park or something where I park my car. But here we go. Something that I wanted to share about this particular content is this particular workshop that I'm going to run in the University of Amsterdam, is that it's going to be open source. So I felt too guilty about holding this content with me or even putting it behind a paywall. And then I decided that, okay, I'm going to release another free course content. So it is recorded, it is ready, and I'm just about to launch it. This is basically this one that I'm running in University of Amsterdam is going to be basically a test drive today. If it went very well, then I will open source it. It's not code open source, it's kind of like the concept. I'm going to put a lot of content, 109 or something slides to accompany this. All the n8n workflow templates files And then the, how's that called? The concept itself, the schedule, the coaching, the entire series, the YouTube tutorial series is all about how to run this workshop. So you basically are someone who want to give a workshop about AI agents, AI, automation, n8n. You go through this content, you're fully equipped to run this workshop the way I'm going to run it today in Amsterdam University. So stay tuned, something really cool is coming out. I'm going to leave the checkout form for, I'm not sure how I will distribute it. I ignore what I just said. I was going to say that I'm going to leave it here. But yeah, the buildings are a little bit different, the structure of the buildings, and compared to Germany. And there we go. Look at that building. The University of Amsterdam. We arrived there. This is a business school. I think let me see now, where is the destination, because apparently I'm 2 minutes late and I have 4 minutes of walking, so I have to walk this way. Yeah, so in 4 minutes I will see my point of contact, and then about 28 minutes we are starting the workshop. It's a fully packed workshop, so I am super enthusiastic about this particular workshop because it's not 100% hands-on. The content goes like this. We start at 9:30 a.m. Everything is like time boxed really well. I hope this trial in University of Amsterdam will work better, like time-wise, and also not just what I thought that might make sense, but also from the participants' perspective, whether they can grasp it in that much time or not, whether the feedback is positive or not. So what I would do is, if this was successful, the time box goes like this. In one section of the morning, it is like starting from what is an AI agent to going to the next section. Well, there's like a big slot of like 1.5 hours of presentation, Q&A, case studies, good and bad examples, types of AI agents, the development frameworks of AI agents, all of them theory, nothing that we will start spinning off a development framework or something. And then it comes to the second part, which is the hands-on. So just there will be one small break, and then after that we have like one hands-on session for 1 hour 45 minutes in the front of, like, before the lunch break, and then another 1 hour 45 minutes of a hands-on session after the lunch break. And those two sessions are the only sessions for hands-on. Then the rest, everything is again presentation. And then one of the very interesting things that I'll do today, which is of its first kind I'm doing throughout my 20 plus workshops only in 2025, is a group activity, because these are business people and they hold these positions in their organizations. This group activity will cover something around what kind of AI agent will you build in your organization, or what will you automate? Again, in a very directed framework. So there are slides that are guiding them, and there are frameworks that guide them, the guidelines that will let them know that what should be done. And I arrived in the destination 5 minutes late. I should be good to go, and see you guys in the next sections of this behind the scene. I don't know how it's gonna end up, but wish me luck. Bye. All right, so I got in, and we have like a very nice setup, very lit, very nice room. It's gonna be around 30 students, as I said, MBA students. So pretty cool room with extra screens to assist. There's one screen behind me. That screen has a mirror on the other side. And then there's a beamer. Because the room is so light, the beamer is not so visible, especially for people in the back row. So hopefully this screen is going to work. Yeah, that screen is going to work, hopefully. And well, this is a university, so they really know how to put together a very efficient classroom. And some people are already there. Looking forward to an amazing experience today. It's my first time doing it in a university in person. I did for other universities, not the same workshop, a very similar workshop, kind of online, but let's see, wish me luck. Okay, so a quick recap. What have we done so far in this particular workflow? Not throughout the entire workshop so far. Okay, so we are around 15 minutes to lunch break, and we are almost done with our first part of hands-on. In the next 15 minutes, we're going to do the initial setup of what we are going to build. What we are going to build is something like this. I'm going to quickly do a small demo of this. So we're going to build a lead qualification engine. It comes from a Google form. Like this lead is ingested into this workflow from a Google form that dumps information into a Google Sheet like this. And each time a Google Sheet row is added, it runs. When it runs, it goes and does the following things. First, it evaluates the lead. If the lead is qualified lead, let's say if it has 8 and above score, between a score that's given by AI from 1 to 10, it generates a reasoning behind that and it saves it back to that Google Sheet from where it picked it in a column. And it gives an alert on Slack so that we can go on in Slack and kind of get a notification whether we are on the go. Let's say we get a lead from our website. They have like this extremely high quality lead. It's based on our personas, and we want to get back to them immediately. There's a Harvard Business School review that if you get back to leads within 60 seconds of their first touch point, the conversion rate increases to 392%. So this gives you that little ability to literally go and call them immediately the moment they fill the form. And then if time allowed, we're going to extend this workshop to this part where we will see how to intelligently compose an email with 3 little time slots available for tomorrow. Literally tomorrow of that any given date. So the outcome of the rest of this workflow is if it's a 8+ score lead, then the AI agent will go and find 3 available slots from our calendar, our Google Calendar. We'll know how to integrate Google Calendar to this AI agent. And then it will compose an email that will be sitting as a draft. The current state of AI is not really good, or at least it's a preference. In my preference, it's not really reliable enough that I would want to send an email directly to a highly qualified lead, because in my case, as the CTO of a company that builds AI agents for SMEs, I don't want to send an email that's not nicely curated to a lead that is just filled in my form. It's okay. I get the Slack notification in here, and then I go and check the draft that is created by AI. I change some things, I clean it up, and then I send it. It already is saving me a lot of time. But changing that one step to sending an email is just one click away. Click here, change that this draft to message, and then send. It's sending an email. But it's a preference thing. I don't want to do that personally. So we're going to build this right after the lunch break. We're going to go for lunch break in about 10 minutes, but before that, I'd like to make sure that we are set right for this particular session of hands-on that's going to start right after the lunch break. And in order to get set, at least by mindset, because we're going to go super fast in 1 hour and 45 minutes, building this workflow. It's super ambitious with a crowd of almost 30 people that just learned n8n a couple of hours ago. Therefore, I want to entertain as many questions right now as possible to make sure that you guys are ready, like sharp ready with this live stream and going back to the steps that we can hopefully accommodate, not finishing the simple mode this much, but the entire advanced mode like this. Question from Diego.
Yeah.
All right, so I successfully made it to lunch break. These dudes and these ladies, they know what questions to ask. I recommend to do an MBA class workshop next time because you get asked like with really controversial questions. I had to change my slide on the go because I don't want to confront anyone. So really cool people in the room to keep the logistics low, like video content and everything. I'm running it solo, but the room is full of like at least I would say 30 people, and I'm enjoying it so far. Now we're going to start the hands-on session, which is going to be literally n8n workflows, building it step by step, and I already produced like a full tutorial and these bite-sized videos. So let's see how it goes. Wish me luck. See you in the next clip. This is basically flowgramming that's coming from a brain of programming. So it's just an abstraction of programming. Like under the hood, it's a lot of code generated. And don't forget this. This particular workshop is called AI Agents for Business Leaders. It's not AI Agents for Programmers. And you're not going to get top-notch flowgramming content from this workshop. You get the content that's needed for a business leader in order to understand this world. It's a kind of tip of the iceberg. And then once you understand this, you go and let your programmers use this. A lot of other content that I produce, I have a bunch of more YouTube series that even like I would like to share it with you guys, is if you go to amosai.com, then go to this page. I'll also put
Hi, my name is
somewhere else. Here. This one has almost 60 lectures, and this is entirely focused on vibe coding and n8n. So here, my focus is entirely programmers. So you'll get to know how to build an AI agent, a voice AI agent that is doing lead qualification. Same concept that we are going to build here after the lunch break, but in this case, it's a voice call. When you fill a form, an AI agent is calling you, the same AI agent that I demoed earlier, like this one. And instead of like having this conversation in general, it has a conversation contextual to that.
Hello,
lead.
dear. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Thank you so much. And then this conversation goes on that phone call with you having the full context of the form that you filled and the services that I provide as a company. And all of that is literally the project of this workshop. And also another one is this one, 38 lectures where you learn the basics of vibe coding. And then this is another one, the very, very first one that's kind of like 11 lectures. These two are other lectures around voice AI agents and n8n and so on. So, and the one that I shared with you guys is this one. I see it because I'm logged in, but it's not public yet. So this is the one that is purely curated for business leaders, like MBA grads and so on. So, any other questions? Yes.
So you said you're like you have like basically an agency that's doing it. What are like the best sellers that are the best business cases that are coming to you? Like what people are
Nice.
what they want to pay?
Nice. The question is like what was the best use case of AI agents? Am I understanding it correctly?
And what people are willing to pay money for?
Yeah.
According to your
So I'll give a few examples of my real-world projects. So I built an AI agent for a conference company that does screening of founders. Like there were processes that they had, and they used to do that with interns. They hired interns. They literally did the following things. Go to the LinkedIn profile of the founder, open the website of the startup, and open the Crunchbase profile of the startup. And then you have all these 3 tabs, and you know what kind of startups we engage with. And then you read, and then give a score between 1 to 10. And then you do that for 5,000 startups. Now, an AI agent did it like literally in, I remember running the entire pipeline. It took 12 hours, and then 5,000 startups were evaluated.
I have a question. What I struggle a little bit, how do I translate, for example, there is a specific task that I want the AI agent to execute, and how do I translate it to the, like what kind of steps I need to take to build the AI agent, so some sort of framework. So let's say I want AI agent to, kind of like tell me what kind of task I need to do based on, I don't know, all the emails that I have or whatever. So, is there like some sort of framework around it that I don't need to break down the process into micro steps or like layers that you need to look into, so that actually when I want to build an AI agent, I at least know where to start and what I need to think about?
Good question. So the question is around like whether or not it makes sense to have a framework for building AI agents so that I know how to place them so that it can create the intended outcome in more high accuracy way, if I understand it correctly.
Exactly, yeah.
It's again an architecture question. So a software architect could think about, okay, LLMs can hallucinate, and they hallucinate for like reasons. And if I bloat the context window or the prompt with so many instructions, that AI agent is going to hallucinate. Let's take an example of this with this boss and HR manager and CV screener. If I have a startup that has like literally 3 employees, the founder probably is doing all the work, and he is overloaded. And if I have a corporation with 10,000 employees, it's not the CEO doing the screening of the CVs, because down in the hierarchy, there are certain fields that the CEO do not know about. Like, for example, electrical engineering. The CEO might be an MBA grad. Now, how do you do that? By delegating. Same concept goes here. An AI agent that is super general knowledge is the CEO, and then an AI agent that's super focused on this screening of particular field, let's say electrical engineering, is the screener. And then the amount of bounces that goes through these other AI agents is the instruction of the boss going to the next immediate AI agent, then the next, and then it finally arrives to the AI agent who is very, very like constrained to screening CVs of electrical engineers. And the system prompt of that particular CV screener is act as if you are or your role is a screener for electrical engineers. You have a PhD in electrical engineering and blah, 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 whatever prompt engineering you can do in there, down there. And then all the hierarchies up on the very top, you basically get the thing that says you are the CEO of an organization with 12,000 employees, and it's a generic and blah, blah, blah. So that's how the hierarchies can be distinguished. There was another question? Yeah?
Einstein, which can do
Yes.
part of what
Yes.
today the LLM does, or
Yes.
you have a lot of enterprises who use BPA.
Yes. The
Orchestration
business
flows.
process management notation. Yeah.
As well as you have
various other things like Oracle Cloud offering something, you have Airflow.
Yeah.
right. So
So the enterprise is already equipped with those kind of existing
Right.
old school tools for doing these kind of business workflows. That's what
I
you're saying.
would not say old
And
school,
agent,
and they're
what is it called? agent something. I just forgot Microsoft's agent development framework.
Yeah, so you have Agent Studio.
Yeah, there are a lot of
Agent Studio
agent
and
prefixes
other
and
stuff.
postfixes, but there is one very, just forgot it right now. Maybe the lack
Yeah,
of
so
the
so my
iteration.
How do you see that in
Auto agent, sorry to interrupt you. Auto agent. Auto agent is Microsoft's agent development framework. So auto agent is one of them, but there are a bunch of them. You're getting to a very nice point, like existing workflows, like Anna, you were saying, like you have Copilot, you have a bunch of other
Automate.
tools,
Yeah.
Power BI, what else?
Power Automate is the
Power Automate?
yeah.
Yeah, these things, even I haven't heard about those names. I was in we are developers, and this girl from Microsoft giving a talk about a tool that I have never heard of. I forgot it again. Is doing something very similar to n8n. So this world of corporate, this world of Microsoft is full of these tools. But
So my question is,
yeah, very, very valid, very, very good question. So the question goes around open source. How do you bring this to the corporate? How do you take care of scalability and security and all the privacy concerns that we were having a conversation about? And so my short answer to that is, to all of them combined, is the old school champion solution. Like you go and find a champion in a big organization, whether this be a developer, a head of a unit, a director of multiple units, that they work on innovation. Usually it comes from the innovation hub of these organizations, these big organizations. And then you pick one tiny little use case. If you pick a very complex use case, that project is going to fail. And then you pick the very tiny use case, which is going to be the entire hour in the afternoon. We're going to do that. And you pick that very low-hanging fruit in the organization, in this big organization, in this one little corner where they kind of like are allowed to play around with all the new tools without touching the whole infrastructure, without having a permission requirement from the CIO of the organization, and they can do the sandbox playground thingy. You do that, the use case comes from the organization. It's something that their colleagues, they have these water cooler discussions, they talk about these innovative ideas. Once that comes out as a successful project, then horizontally scaling that through the other units becomes much easier, because in that organization you have first good relationships. Second, you have a reference. Like you say that, look, it's not science fiction. It's like putting ChatGPT and then wrapping it with a few APIs, as we did it like in these workflows. And then you get something out of it that will save 10x, 20x, 100x in some use cases of productivity. And that means higher revenue, lower cost, which is like a Disneyland for a lot of enterprises.
First of all, I have some projects where we are building mostly orchestration layers for some agents and building things with this currently at my work. And I actually gave my developers the chance to try n8n. Basically all that they got back with, we are not going to use this.
Okay.
Because the constraints are too big. It cannot do things in parallel, truly.
Oh, I see, yes. This parallel execution is one of the, yeah.
A lot of limitations at this. At that, we started actually doing compliance checks. We decided to go back to a standard data lake solution, because we need to integrate everything there. We need to add edit logging. Like the list of requirements for an actual project is so much bigger than what n8n actually has inside.
I see, makes sense.
The development framework, it's very limiting in that regard compared to these more enterprise tools.
Have you guys checked the enterprise license?
Check the enterprise license for sure, but that does not resolve our data management question.
And it's more about compliance and logging, more transparency. Any questions around scalability?
Scalability, because it's not really, we can scale the server. You know, we can, that's the
Put
least amount of
VMs,
issue.
yeah.
But it's more the predictability of it. Not really like rolling back, ensuring models are working nicely.
I understand that. To be honest, I don't have a clear answer to that, whether or not it is It's possible, but I would say, like, generically speaking, it's a yes, but it's an organization decision. You get off the shelf 1.1 million lines of code curated really nicely through 6-7 years of that project that is done, and then you build on the top of that whatever your organization needs, or you go and start from a clean slate. It's a very technical architectural question that a CIO or a CTO needs to get involved into, and then they make that decision for that organization, not individual contributors, especially developers.
So basically what our decision came to be is that a more mature toolkit like we chose for Databricks for some of these projects, which also contain Apache Airflow for orchestration layer.
Yeah.
That is a much more mature
That brings me to a very interesting point, which I will do it after the lunch break. We have just 1 minute to go. I want to diagram something. Please remind me after the lunch break, before we start the hands-on session, is that what if we combine the best of the whole world? Like an HTTP, like it's like this. n8n workflow goes here, 20 steps. There's one step that we can't do anything about. Let's take it out of the system, put a microservice architecture there, and then it goes there, and then it goes back to the workflow, and then another 20 steps there. So you can bring the best of the whole world together.
Are increasing complexity by doing so.
The separation of concerns principle would say that please do separate them.
No. I'm not saying not to separating. It's the mixture of technologies, because then you're introducing 6 or 7 tool chains which are not really nicely integrating.
I kind of like disagree there because of the monolith architecture. If you go in a monolith architecture, then you combine everything into one system, but then there's like microservices, micro front ends, and
that, but just the size of teams I'm currently running, introducing.
How big is this organization you're working at? Number of
Currently,
employees?
teams are let's say 10 people.
No, the whole organization.
I mean, a consultancy agency set.
How big is it?
70 people total.
It's a very small organization. What I'm saying is about 20, 30, 50,000 employees. Sure. What you're talking about is a 70 people, tiny company. The mechanics, the politics, everything is super different in a 70 people employee than 10,000.
It's not even on our company. It's mostly from the maintainability of the product itself, introducing 3 tool chains into it.
Makes sense. Yeah, for a 70 employee company, this is absolutely an overkill.
Not even from the perspective of our company, from the perspective of the client.
Absolutely, makes sense. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for staying 10 minutes extra. Hi everyone. So I'm with Martin. Good to see you. Thank you so much for the participation. What do you do? What's your background?
I'm running my own digital transformation agency.
Nice.
So we do trainings.
What's it called? If I may open the website.
Next week.
Next
week.
Like
next week.
W-E?
W-I-T.
Nice. .com.
Services.com.
Nextwithservices.com. Wonderful. So you run this digital agency for
6 years.
6 years. Wonderful.
Yeah. And I was wondering your journey into trainings,
into
implementation.
Super crazy. Like you see throughout my history on the About page. I'm here after this big setback. I lost a lot of my savings. I go through a little bit of a trauma between 6 months of losing that much savings, and I come from Afghanistan, and I say like, what do I do next? I can't do much. I go and build these so-called micro SaaS products. I build 5 of them at the same time and launch them on the internet. Doesn't work. And then I restart my whole career with this new company, emilsar.com, and that after, well, this figure is old, after losing 50 kilograms. Not through the trauma, but through a lot of exercise and good food. And I start my journey with doing one thing, one very vulnerable thing, that I go in and put myself into the world by doing this one video, which is on my YouTube channel. The very first video. It's very, very interesting, like how things can snowball. If I go here in the playlist where I started this whole journey, and in this video is about building an AI agent for 7 months ago. So building an AI agent for an SME software called Dativ. It's an accounting software. And I'm trying to tweak things to see how computer use works and how a computer can use RPA, robotic process automation, and Gen AI, and then put them combined together. And then this thing kind of snowballed. Like I never thought that whether or not a developer like me can go out there in the world and then put something, and this is the very first video. The moment I was recording this, I was thinking that, should I go and shave? And some part of my brain said, like, if you shave, you're not gonna record. And I started recording. Look at the background, it's my son's bedroom, and everything was imperfect. But this thing got me a lot of thing through this project that I started, blindclicks.com, .dev, which is all the open source project that I did throughout those journey. And then I had a chance to go and have a talk at .f HQ, and then this kick-started the whole workshop things around n8n and everything else that I have done in the past 6-7 months. That's crazy, like the amount of growth. And
How many trainings do you do on average?
I do 2 sessions on a very regular basis. I'm the co-host of AI Builders Berlin. We host it every month, so that's fixed. And I have a series of workshops that I do every month. There's an info sheet about this where I put everything there, and then all the pictures and videos and so on. The 5th one happened literally on 30th of August. It's also my wedding anniversary, but it's still I did it. So n8n and vibe coding with Gemini CLI. And then in between, multiple master classes on ad hoc
How do you
basis.
keep the balance between doing things and training? I mean, how do you
Training
refresh your
is
knowledge, or
more,
how do you keep
in
stay on
between.
track?
I push myself so much. Like, for example, Gemini CLI, I've never tried. I did here a hackathon. No, this is the workshop. This is the hackathon. Somewhere is the hackathon. I think I didn't publish it live yet. I did an entire hackathon. I even lose track of videos that I'm pushing, and I'm pushing super intensive way. Look at that, 318 videos in just 6-7 months. So it's crazy. Here, this one. This was a hackathon. We did this hackathon, super ad hoc, 3 hours of content. We went and locked ourselves into a room.
Quite interesting to see that you blend the in-person experience with the online experience.
Yes.
What was the initial idea?
Oh, that's
Going
that-
online, or you have being a YouTube
Yeah.
influencer? Or
That is a very good point about like which we started. I want to show you these tools that I do. So I go to the I go here, and this is my first appearance on 15th of March. This thing happens March 15th, and then I have multiple cameras. I take not cameras, iPhones, and I take my wife's iPhone, my iPhone, and everything, and then I put it on these tripods, and I start recording this multicam views. So you see, this camera is on one tripod, then there's another camera, and there's another camera here you can see.
Yeah.
So there's like these camera shifts are happening. I don't know exactly how to edit this. I go teach myself DaVinci to switch this.
Okay.
And then the next thing I do is I want to do it myself. I want to code it. I keep coding, and the vibe stage that you see today, the emojis and everything going on, and also the software that is doing the streaming, everything kept building month over month, all vibe coded. And now I don't need to have all those very AV setup and zero editing happening, literally by having these tripods. I don't have my live setup right now. I'll do a very detailed setup about this. I will open source the entire live setup, because the actual setup there is a little bit more complicated than what we have right now running. This right now setup, it's only live from this microphone, and I have these microphones. I have these microphones that we are having. this is a microphone that is for recording, which kind of
okay.
like didn't work.
Okay.
I don't know why some of these cables didn't work, but I didn't need it anyways because this live stream is not for everyone.
Do you use recordings after the trainings to improve your courses or generate transcripts or just
Nothing, no. It just goes there and then sits there. Until now, I didn't find
quite
time.
valuable because
I do sometimes watch parts of it when I said something I didn't want to say, and I pause and I see, and then I say that, should I say it like this? Should I say it differently? There's a coach called Chris Todd or Chris something. He's a speaking coach. I follow his advice on how to improve your public speaking. Something like he says, do it in 3 steps. One time you watch it without audio, one time you watch it with just audio, one time you read the transcript of it. I want to start doing that as soon as possible. But yeah, I want to get like really improve my game and workshop business. But you've been doing it for 6 months. Like, any tips on that? Like, how can I improve? What can I do? And how was it so far that you saw?
yeah, it was super cool. I mean, I really appreciated the time
Oh,
and part of the interactivity,
Ah.
especially that we're doing a hybrid format.
Yes.
Because basically we are online,
Yeah.
but you're still interacting with the live participants. That's
So
super nice.
nice, cool. We'll keep in touch and see how I can learn more from you. Wonderful. Thank you so much. Thanks a lot. See you guys in the next club. Entire workflow. As I mentioned before, this much is the basic form and this much is the advanced form. So if you see, we are building multiple AI agents in here, each doing one thing, but not in an orchestrated layer that one gives jobs to the other one, but it's horizontally the output of this AI agent becomes the input of this AI agent, and so on and so forth. So this system prompt is basically the specification of that particular AI agent that we are running. So this AI agent is doing one thing, which is going to qualify our lead. How do we know it? From this system prompt. You are a helpful assistant. You can help qualifying leads. Okay? You can help qualify leads. Our business wants to engage with companies that have at least 1,000 employees. That's nice. And what is the user message? It is give this lead a score from 1 to 10. That's it. Now, if you go back and click on this execute button, you'll see that all these nice spinners are going, and here you should see an item that says 1 and that check mark. And now if you open this, you will see here an output that is a general text that says, I would give this lead a score of 10. Reasoning, the reason, it just explains why, because the company size is big. But I want to do something else. What do I want to do? Let's go to that Google Sheet that we have created earlier. Okay? Where is that? I think it just put it. Let's go here. I'm going to go to the sheets. So what I want to do, the requirement for me is that I'm going to store 2 more fields next to this. One field will be score or lead score. Let's call it lead score. And one field is score reasoning. So I want to capture those 2 pieces of information generated by AI. I want AI to score these leads for me from 1 to 10 and also give a reasoning for that. So I already have that running in here in this workflow, as you can see. But the problem here is that it's inside that piece of string. You see, the score 10 is there and the reasoning is there, but I can extract it to put it inside that Google Sheet. And I want to do that so that I can easily filter in my Google Sheet all the number 8s, all the number 7s, all the number 2s, and so on. So how do I do that? It's an option here. It says require specific output format. Please turn on that toggle. Once you do that, get out of the settings page. Now you see your AI agent having this one extra piece of information that needs to be attached to this, or attribute that needs to be attached to this AI agent, which is called output parser. Now, inside this output parser, what it does is it enforces this AI agent to provide the output in a specific format. What is that specific format? 2 fields. One, a number from 1 to 10. One, a text, an explanation of why did you give it 10. So we're going to do that in just a minute. There was a question from Dominic.
Yeah, it's actually related to this. Is this enforcing it on the ChatGPT side or the back parsing side? Because this can be enforced on the API side of ChatGPT. You can also say.
Good question. So there's something called, for those of you who code, you know something from ChatGPT called function calling? You know, so it's basically in the backend function calling from ChatGPT. So it takes a output parser. So let's do that and then I'll explain that. So click on this plus button and then please click on structured output parser. Once you do that, it asks you for some sort of sample. Keep that generate from JSON example here. And then I'm going to bring the example that we need to give it and paste it right here. It's just a JSON. I'll explain JSON in a minute. Let's put it together first. I am also pasting it here so that you can copy it. So what does this JSON do? I think with the speed that we're going, we will have some time to do JSON. But if we couldn't, I will explain JSON right now a little bit. So these 2 curly brackets are denoting that this is a start and end of this JSON object. These 2 quotation marks are denoting that this is one property, this is another property. One property is lead score, another property is reason. I'm going to call it lead reason, just to follow the naming conventions that I have, or score, lead score and score reasoning, kind of like that. It doesn't need to be the same. Let's keep it like differently so that you don't get the connotation that it has to be the same numbers. Yes?
Can you add more examples? So it's going to add more curly brackets with more examples if for some reason.
Yes. Yes. But since we want the output to be only in one object, therefore one object is enough. If you want the output to be an array of objects, that means like multiple of these objects, then you can put more examples. By putting this so-called array, and then a comma, and then you copy paste the entire object, give it another examples. And then now the model will generate more than one. But we don't need this right now. We need only one object. We're analyzing only one lead at a time. So we have to go with this one. And if you consume that lecture number 17 from the playlist that I shared earlier, I think you'll know how to run this. Okay, now if you go back and then click on execute workflow, you will see something happening. Now, if you double click on AI agent to see the result of that, now you will see that the output is coming in these 2 little objects or properties of this object, lead score and lead reason. So you can actually grab every single piece of that information separately and then put it back in that Google sheet. Okay, I'm going to wait for a few more seconds to see if anyone is lagging. Pardon me? In the Google form? Sorry, I cannot understand your question.
No.
Yeah, oh, it was scrolled out like this. Yeah. Okay, so now you have this piece of information. Now there is a very crucial piece of information coming in. the output of one node becomes the input of another node. What do I mean by that? So here, you see that this thing is output of this node becomes the input of this node. The output of this node becomes the input of this node. The output of this node becomes the input of this node, and it keeps going on and on and on. Every single node takes an input from previous node, processes it, and then puts some output on the other side. And then the output of that, or the input, is always represented in this JSON format. You can, only for the visual purposes, change it to table and schema, but underlying data structure of that is this JSON format. Therefore, I cannot tell enough that it's important to learn how to read and write JSON in order to become a good n8n expert. All right, so now what I do next is that I want to... Yes, please go ahead. So the point of the structured output here was that we wanted to extract two pieces of information from the LLM. One is the score, one is the reasoning behind why did it score it that much, so that we can store it inside these two cells in Google Sheet. The next step will be storing it back in the Google Sheet. So the steps goes like this. We have Google form, somebody filled the Google form, and that Google form added something on Google Sheets, and that Google Sheets triggered this n8n workflow. The n8n workflow called a ChatGPT call. The ChatGPT call returned some structured parser, and that structured parser is gonna put back, so it goes like this. Google form triggered Google Sheets. Google Sheets triggered n8n. n8n triggered ChatGPT. ChatGPT sent us this output structure parser, and the output structure parser is gonna put back that piece of information in Google Sheets. So that's the whole concept. Like the
structured parser is necessary to build a Google Sheet again.
Exactly. So that score of 10, and the reason that they have 1,000 plus employees. Because our prompt was so simple, I said, like, we want to get in here, look at this. Our business wants to engage with companies that have at least 1,000 employees. In the prompt initially, in the Google form when I filled, I said, like, we are 3,500. Intentionally, I filled it with that fictitious example so that I could generate this cycle. Now, we want to put this information back into that Google Sheet. Therefore, we need output parser in order to extract those pieces of information like this separately. Now, click on plus button, please, and then type Google Sheets. Now, in this time, we're going to select a different thing. It's called update row in sheet. If you click that, then you see a little bit different settings. By now, one thing you have discovered is that almost all of these UI are coming in the same pattern. And once you master, like, let's say 20 nodes, then you can operate the rest of the 480 nodes on n8n platform, or thousands of nodes potentially, because of the unlimited community nodes that could be there out there in the world. So now I have, look at this, like the output of this one, the output of this output parser going through the AI agent was here, right? It was here. It is underneath the output section. It's saying lead score 10, lead reason, the company has 2,500 employees. Now that, if you go to the update row, became as an input to this other one. That's how this thing works. So the output comes to the input of the other one. Now, in here, I want to pick the contact us response thing, and then from here, the sheet, the form response sheet. And then the list of these things is very familiar to you guys when we did the very first workflow in the start, in the morning. We have to select from here, let's say, email address. This is a very important step. Like, it should be unique, exactly. And I think email is unique enough in this particular form. Now we pick, it's a fictitious example. It can happen that two people are the same person is filling the contact form multiple times, and which row it should pick. And the best scenario would be we generate one unique identifier for every single row in this email, or maybe time is a better choice in that sense. Then we have to have a timestamp, then timestamp is the better choice. But just for the sake of example, let's pick email. And then click on the schema, and then in the schema you can see that I have access to multiple different contexts. This is another small theory or kind of like knowledge of n8n you need to know. Every single step that it went through, step number 1, step number 2, 3, 4, and so on, as it goes on and on and on, it remembers the context before. So you can grab that context. So here I need email, and email is not in the output parser. You can see that. In the output parser, we don't have email. We only have these two information. So if I'm in the JSON format, I can see only those two information, but I can change it from here to go in here, and then I have access to email. Or in this schema, then I have access to all of the data at once, and then I can grab the email and drop it in the email box here, and then delete all the other fields except those two fields that we need to update.
Okay, so
The lead score.
you only need the one that it's needed to match, yeah?
Exactly. So now I will drag the lead score to the lead score, and then the lead reason to the lead reason.
But what would happen if you kept the only ones and either matching to this Google Sheets trigger item, or without any match, or without any, let's say, column?
It will not execute the next step. If it cannot find a match, it will not execute the next step. It will not update anything. Okay, so we created that. Save it. Be ready for seeing the magic. I will do this for the display purposes here. And I have something called contact us form. So here, if we pay attention here, you can see that we don't have like the lead score for this particular one set up yet. And if I start executing this, something like this. Okay, now what happens here is step number 1, it executes it, and then it does some ChatGPT calls, and then it updates that score for us inside this Google Sheet. And I think that's so powerful. As a web developer, I've been doing web development for 17 years nonstop. This much of work would have taken me like multiple days to do it in a scalable way, but this thing is super scalable. Like, it runs on the cloud services of n8n, and it can like literally accommodate millions of contacts coming in, obviously not running it on a Google Sheet. So this node changes from Google Sheet to something else. And then this changes from Google Sheet to a database, a proper database. And then we score our leads coming in. And it's impressive. All right, so the next step would be to add Slack alerts. All right. Welcome back from the coffee break, guys. We're gonna start the session now, and having a quick recap of the agenda. Where are we standing and what's gonna come next? Is we just had a very interesting, detailed day today. Quick recap: we had very detailed presentations out there. A coffee break, very detailed hands-on here. And what we are going to do now is a group activity. What you will do in this group activity is you will learn how to talk about AI agents internally in your organizations and identify the right problems to solve when it comes to building an AI agent. Because if you take these agentic frameworks, you can almost build anything with this, but what exactly makes sense is a question. Therefore, I added this EU AI Act slides so you can know what's the low-hanging fruit, especially in European Union frameworks. So in the next slides, what you're going to see is like we'll do some breakout room for, I don't know, let's say 45 minutes to 1 hour. And you'll do some brainstorming with each other, and we'll identify those little projects that you can do in your organizations. The goal of this is that you come up with one business challenge that you have, and be ready to pitch that in a group, some in here or just by standing and talking, so that your fellows can see your perspective, and also challenge it during those 5 minutes of presentations that you'll do. The structure will be group brainstormings for 45 minutes, and then pitching for 5 minutes, depending on how many groups we end up, maybe 3 minutes, 4 minutes per team. And the group setup could go, let's say 5 students per team. Choose one business domain that's very interesting for you, you're passionate personally. Either this could be marketing and sales, operation and supply chain, finance and accounting, HR and people ops, customer support, product and strategy. Again, you pick something that you're really good at, like you know that area very, very well. And the brainstorming can go like this: 15 minutes of the first 15 minutes, you can use it to identify the business problem so that you guys in the group can agree with that one particular business problem. And then you can go for 15 minutes to imagine what would be that AI agent solution. You don't have to build it with n8n or anything else. Kind of like articulate it, that you can put a few sentences together and then you say, we can build this like that. And during this time, I'll come to your group and then I'll join your brainstorming sessions. And then finally, the final 15 minutes you can use to prepare your pitch. This is a detailed slide. You have already access to the slideshow, so that how you can articulate those things, like where is your company or team wasting time? What are the repetitive tasks that frustrate people? The workflows that are too many manual steps. Those are very good low-hanging fruits for identifying the problem area. For the solutions, what will the actual AI agent do, like actual implications of that? I can also help with that, and the apps and the data sources and all the connected things, and how the communication between these things would look like: a Slack, an email, a dashboard, a vibe-coded dashboard and stuff. So you now a little bit have an idea of how n8n could help. But don't bound yourself only to n8n. Like, go as creative as you can be. Like, there are a lot of tools. And I'll be there as an expert in this topic to help you identify whether that idea you're talking about could work or could not work. And then prepare a pitch in a way that you name your agent, and then you describe a problem in one sentence, and then explain it, how the agent solves that problem. And then also share the expected outcome, like with a time saved and error reduced and revenue gain and so on. So the pitch format could go like this: each group having the name and business and problem and so on in place, and try to visualize something if you can in those 15 minutes. But the examples could go something like this. For sales agents, for example, the problem is leads from the website aren't followed up fast enough. The solution is agent that monitors form submissions, qualifies leads with ChatGPT, and sends a Slack alert. The impact, fictitious number, you can also come up with a number, but kind of like in your group of 2, 3 people, 4 people, argue about that, whether this makes sense, 30% or not, but roughly saying that 30% faster leads responds to more closed deals based on that Harvard Business School review. And another example could be financial agent that is solving this problem of monthly reporting taking a lot of time. and this agent pulls all the revenue sheets and summarizes the KPIs, and it prepares a PDF that can be sent to CFOs or any other stakeholders. And the impact is that it saves 60% of reporting time and fewer errors. So that's your product after an hour. You can do that. Now let's start the brainstorming session. The way we will distribute the teams in order for you guys to make it easy so that we don't do any chairs rearrangement is like, how many people are we? Amazing.
Big so my name is Samuel, Program Support Officer for the in AI Data and Analytics program, which essentially means along with the program manager, I'm responsible for day-to-day operations. Our program is non-regular education, so we pretty much have a small team that takes care of all aspects within the program, and we provide higher service level because it's also a very expensive program. So I'm in charge from making sure that students are registered for their courses, up to making sure that their diploma gets printed and is signed and everything in between.
It's a lot of logistics going back and forth, and
we have students who are professionals. They work full time and they complete the program part time. They have families, so they live very busy lives. So we try and take as much admin stuff from their hands.
Wonderful, and I can tell that today's workshop was super smooth. Thank you so much for running all the logistics and making it possible. We had an amazing day today. Thank you so much for that.
Good to hear. I mean, thank you for being here. I've heard great things from the students so far. I've seen a lot of smiling faces, so a lot of enthusiasm.
Thank you.
Which is always very good.
Thank you so much. So what we have done today was like a lot of AI agents content. We started from like literally what is an AI agent, and we build an AI agent using a framework called n8n. And now, right now, students are in a breakout room that they're brainstorming about what sort of an AI agent they would build for their organizations. And the timer is running 18 minutes. We have 18 minutes before the brainstorming session is over. And in overall, like, what's your feedback? What can I take home?
I mean, you came very prepared, which for me, who has to deal with the setup and everything, is always lovely when someone comes in and they have all their own stuff and it's like, oh, you need to have a USB port and everything. Yeah, I've got it. I've got it covered. So setup and everything went smooth. I pretty much did a 10-second introduction and then threw you into the pit of things, and you just did your thing, and everything went smoothly.
Lovely. So, looking forward to further feedback from the students, and
we'll hear from them. Obviously, we'll get all the feedback, and I think we spoke to the reps, and they were like, so far pretty good, but I don't want to prematurely say anything. They're going to go with everyone, and they'll ask.
Wonderful.
I'm suspecting that they'll be very happy with this.
Wonderful.
This is really for an MBA program like ours, where we have students who are really interested in practical application, and they also want to be able to have something that they can apply immediately.
Absolutely.
Rather than, they have theoretical courses where it's like, okay, you need to know this, but it's not something that translates directly to their day-to-day work.
Right.
And here they have something where if they want to, they could come in on the Monday and identify a problem and probably have some takeaway from this and go, hey, I can maybe address this problem with what I learned.
Yes.
And in that time frame, even if it doesn't work out for them, it gives them a massive confidence boost. And that's also sometimes important.
Absolutely.
We're committed to academic values and theory, but we also sometimes like, and I don't mean it in a degrading way, like quick wins, but a workshop like this is very good to keep morale up and to teach them something that is immediately valuable.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Samuel, thank you so much for this conversation.
Thank you, Angel, for being here.
Lovely. Thank you so much, Samuel. And now we have about 15 minutes to go and see the outcome of the brainstorming sessions. See you guys there. Bye.
all the solutions. I see that you're a very open guy and towards these
Yeah.
terms. And what to best to start with, you have a massive community on LinkedIn, as I've seen, and
Yeah,
that's
it's
your probably main
not
source
massive
of
yet. Yeah.
main source of client growth forever. And yeah.
So the best I have a microphone on. The best I advise, I have done it in other workshops and other video content I have, is that you start from something very, very small, like really small. I'm doing for enterprises, big clients and so on, because throughout my career I have been working with Klarna, Siemens, Allianz and so on. It's kind of naturally my selection to go there. You can also go there, but the life cycle of the deals is super long. It's going to take you a lot of time to get into a big organization, be in the supplier list and so on. The best that anyone, if I would be doing it in a parallel universe, not for SMEs, I would be doing it for extremely small businesses. Why? Because if on the street you go, you find one niche that is a lot of shops like that do some sort of service that is basically doing it with their hands, and their hands are busy, and they cannot pick a phone call.
Yeah, that was my goal. So, but what would the businesses be, and what would the
Hairdresser,
if you
like
could,
hairdressers,
hairdressers, appointment setters, for
appointment sitters. Exactly. This is a low-hanging fruit. It's just like one of those JSON files that I shared with you guys in WhatsApp. It's the same thing. A few settings here and there and a few different software tools.
Yeah.
How do you do that is a part of...
I think I know how to do it. Like
It's
maybe
super simple,
technically,
yeah? Technically it's simple.
It's like I used before how we call retail AI.
Yes,
maybe if you
retail
heard.
is... Yeah.
And yeah, that was quite cool. However, also there's other question. How do you really find these clients? Okay, you can like cold calling.
Exactly. For this one, you can also use AI again. Like you can cold call through AI. You can do bulk calling and so on. I have a YouTube live hack session, 5 hours or 4 hours long, where I bulk called like hundreds of mechanics in Berlin City to find an appointment for my car. And
that's cool.
and the AI agent called everyone, do you have an appointment? Da, da, da. And then you can do the same thing with 1,000 different hairdresser salons in your city. And then if you book an appointment, then you go and show them the whole workflow. You say, here, I can connect to your phone number here, and then you receive phone calls from your
So like
your
a lead
clients.
qualification and that kind of
Exactly.
right?
Like one trigger to know if this guy is open for this, because you will call 100.
And if he does, he could directly swap to your
Exactly, to your phone call. Yeah,
right?
because the thing is, like, if you do the manual calling yourself the whole school way, the conversion rate of this is even lower than 1%. So you need to call like 10,000,
100 people, so you'll get
10,000, I would say, even 10,000 phone calls
Wow.
will land to, let's say, 10 clients, 10 actual clients. It's 1,000 to 1. But these are extremely early innovators. Like these 10 people are the 10 people that will bring you the next 100 for you, because they're really sharp-minded people. They're open to technology and so on.
Right. So you also kind of have to have like a scraper agent that would find all these like phone numbers at least.
Yeah. Google Maps.
Google.
You can make an n8n workflow that uses Appify that goes through Google Maps and then finds this. This is all in that 4-hour content that I created for my life.
That's amazing. And okay, the other question, like how much would you charge like these people?
Good question. I don't know the tiny business. I would go with the knowledge that you acquired from MBA, how to do pricing. I would say you don't have this. Maybe the next
yet,
lectures.
maybe this,
yeah, next lectures. Guts feeling. I'm just guts feeling saying like 1,000 euros.
1,000 euros.
If you charge 1,000 euros for this, and if the first 10 customers from that 10,000 calls gets it, like they have an hairdresser salon, they can pay for 500 euros to 1,000 euros for a website. If they pay for this at one time and then they get more revenue, then it's all really, really, really good. Now, if you do it from this perspective, you say, I'm going to do it for free for you. Another model, another pricing model. I'm going to do it for free for you. You know a little bit vibe coding. Let's assume you know it. And then you build a platform that not only shows the appointments for this guy, but also does a little bit accounting.
Right.
And then you say, I'm not going to charge you anything for this. I'm going to take a cut from the leads.
Like a little, what I was thinking like to do is I was gonna like sell like so-called AI audit. Like everyone wants my assumption.
AI what?
Everyone AI audit. Like everyone wants AI. Everyone heard it's on hype. Everyone wants to implement. Nobody knows how. So
Yeah.
I was like what I was thinking to do, like just to somehow to get myself into
Yeah.
the business a little bit, and then like okay, this can save you like this much of hours. And
I
then you
see.
can make like a business propositions.
Absolutely, like this consulting, tiny consulting packages can also
Yeah,
do
so
that.
consultant would be for free, like
Exactly, and then you have a
like
niche,
a
and then yeah,
solution
this is
or
possible.
something.
You want to go for lunch?
Yeah,
Let's go do that.
Yeah.
Thank you so much
Yes.
for watching.
Yes.
This is the backstory, and we're gonna get some more clips. This is Dan.
Yeah.
You want to say something about yourself? What do you do?
Yeah,
Where are you based?
yeah, I'm Amsterdam-based entrepreneur who get to the MBA, which was
Nice.
a little bit surfacey, but
Nice.
getting to this AI agents was really cool and nice. So thank you for bringing that here, and really happy to dive deeper into this, and yeah, made a lot of money.
Absolutely. Like, I don't doubt that this room is going to be really rich in 5 years because of all the numbers talking about. Like, we are like in 1999 talking about email and internet. That's how platform changing this AI agent thing is. So yeah, you will be also rich if you watch these content and subscribe. Don't forget that.